Okay, so picture this, right? Roaring 20s, jazz, flapper dresses.
Oh, I love this era.
Right. But also, seances are all the rage.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's like
Yeah.
everyone's trying to talk to ghosts. Which brings us to Mina Crandon, a.k.a. Margery.
Fascinating woman.
Totally. Captivated everyone. I mean, we've got articles here. High society in Boston was obsessed with her. But even huge names like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Sherlock Holmes guy.
Believed in her, yeah. Thought she was the real deal.
And then there's Harry Houdini. And, well, not so much.
Not even a little bit.
And most of what you've given me about her says she was faking it. Clever fraud, that's what they say. So why did people believe? Why did they doubt?
It's a great question. Because Margery's story, it's not just like, was she or wasn't she a psychic? It's a snapshot of a whole era.
True. The 1920s, right? What was going on?
Spiritualism was huge then. Think about it. World War I just ended.
So many people gone.
Exactly. People are grieving, desperate
Yeah.
to connect with loved ones.
Makes sense someone like Margery would be a hit.
She was almost tailor-made for that moment.
Like, she walked out of the seance and right into the spotlight. And she was charismatic, married to a surgeon,
Right.
wealthy, held these seances at home.
Not just any home either.
Fancy. But here's the thing. Didn't charge money, right?
Nope, not a dime.
Which back then probably made her seem more legit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no.
Especially in those circles she ran in. I mean, this is a woman, we're talking high society, but even she had prayers she wrote. The U.S. Army read them out loud.
No way.
Yeah, she has serious pull.
Okay, so how do you go from spooky rich people parties to, like, getting science involved?
The Scientific American Prize.
Uh-huh.
Big money back then,
Like, win an award for being psychic.
basically.
Yeah.
But huge deal, because they wanted proof. Not just, oh, I made a table move. This was meant to be scientific.
High stakes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And to win that prize, they had a panel of judges.
Yeah.
You did not want to mess with these guys.
Okay, so who are we talking? Like, Sherlock Holmes himself investigating.
Even better, you had a Harvard psychologist, right? You had one of the top psychical research.
Okay, so the best of the best.
Drum roll. Harry Houdini?
No way. Wait, Houdini. Like, the escape artist.
The one and only. He was already famous, and not just for escaping, but for debunking this stuff.
Oh, right. He hated all the fake psychics.
Hated them. So you've got Margery at the top of her game, and Houdini, the ultimate skeptic.
This is going to be good. What happened next? So it wasn't like, Houdini walked in, slapped handcuffs on her, and the jig was up.
Oh, I wish. No, it was a slow burn. Picture like a dark room, everyone's quiet, and Margery's in the zone, right? Channeling her dead brother, Walter.
Spooky stuff.
Right. But Houdini's there the whole time, watching her like a hawk.
See, that's what I like about Houdini. He wasn't afraid of anything. And he was a showman, right?
Oh, absolutely. And savvy, too. He actually worked his doubts about Margery into his act.
No way. So he's on stage like, and that Margery lady faking it.
Not that directly, but basically. He'd tell people how she did her tricks, or at least how he thought she did them.
Smart. Okay, so what was she doing in these seances that had him so convinced? Something about a bell.
The bell. Yeah, classic seance stuff, Margery would be in this cabinet.
Like a big box.
Yeah, exactly. Head and hand sticking out, that's it. And the bell's outside, and it would just start ringing.
Okay, that is creepy.
Right. But Houdini, he was sure she was using her foot somehow. There was even this whole thing. They found a ruler in the cabinet.
A ruler?
Yeah.
Like for measuring?
Yep. Houdini said she used it to ring the bell, but Margery claimed he planted it.
Oh, come on. It's a ruler, not exactly incriminating.
I know, right? But that's what's so great about this whole thing. It's still debated. Who's telling the truth? We might never know.
A real-life mystery, but with, like, more ghosts. Okay, so we've got Houdini being suspicious, but there were other investigators too, right? Like actual scientists. What was their take?
So the big group back then was the American Society for Psychical Research, the ASPR. They were a big deal.
Serious Ghostbusters.
Exactly. Or at least that's what they were going for. And early on, they actually liked Margery, thought she was legit.
Really? Even with the ruler and the feet-ringing bells act?
Well, not everyone at the ASPR was convinced, which is important. Remember Walter Franklin Prince? We talked about him, the researcher who ended up leaving.
Yeah, started his own society, right? Like, I'm out of here. You guys are crazy.
Pretty much. He started out believing in Margery, but he was also very careful, very methodical.
A true scientist.
Exactly. And the more he saw, the more problems he found. Inconsistencies. Things that just didn't add up.
So even some of the believers started changing their minds.
Oh yeah, it got messy. Because on top of all this, You start hearing about these séances Margery was supposedly holding in the nude.
Wait, hold up. In the nude. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, hold on. Seances in the nude. I'm no expert on, like, contacting the spirit world, but that seems extra.
It definitely wasn't standard procedure. Even back then, people thought it was weird. But it gets worse. There were rumors.
Oh, there are always rumors. What, like, she was actually summoning a demon husband.
Not quite. This is about the researchers, the guys who were supposed to be, studying her. Some were a little too interested in Margery.
Okay, so it's not just a ghost story, it's a scandal.
Exactly. And I'm not talking about little crushes either. J. Malcolm Bird, one of the researchers, he was totally smitten with her.
That's got to make it hard to be objective, right?
You think? And then there's Hereward Carrington, big name in the field. He actually had an affair with Margery.
No way.
Oh, yeah. And get this, he owed her money.
Talk about a conflict of interest. It's like, well, she's definitely psychic. Got to keep that money coming in.
Right. It really makes you wonder, were these guys looking for the truth or just trying to protect Margery?
Yeah.
And themselves, probably?
This is why we can't have nice seances, people. But, okay, all the drama aside, what about the actual evidence? The articles mentioned a teleplasmic hand, and I gotta be honest, I have no idea what that even means.
So the teleplasmic hand was like Margery's star attraction. Imagine, right, you're in the seance, and this hand just appears.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Okay, see, that would freak me out.
Totally. And people would describe it, touching it. Cold, they said. Even dead.
Ugh, okay. Stop, I'm getting chills. So what was it, really? Some kind of fake hand trick?
Pretty much. But get ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty sure it was a carved piece of animal liver.
Excuse me. Liver. Like the organ.
The one and only.
I don't know what's worse. The hand or knowing it was a liver?
Right. Talk about a mood killer. But that's Margery for you. And the liver was just one trick. She did all sorts of stuff. The spirit voices, for example. She'd swallow water, then make it gurgle up like it was coming from beyond the grave.
That is ingenious. And also disgusting. But are you saying most of her seances were just tricks like that?
A lot of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, one time, she showed everyone this fingerprint, said it was her dead brother's, right? Imprinted in wax.
Yeah.
Turned out, it was her dentist's fingerprint.
Busted. So, with all that, you'd think people would wise up, right? No more Miss Fake Psychic.
You'd think. And for a lot of folks, that was it. They were done. Even Walter Prince, remember, he was so skeptical by then, he called Margery's whole thing the most ingenious, persistent, and fantastic complex of fraud in the history of psychic research.
Wow, that's a heck of a review. But even with all that, some people still thought she was real.
It's wild, right? But I think that's what makes this story stick with you. It's not just about the tricks, but about what people want to believe. We want to think there's something more out there, especially after losing someone. It's comforting. And sometimes that makes us vulnerable, even to a really good con artist.
Yeah.
Especially one as good as Margery, apparently.
It's kind of beautiful in a weird way. Like, the need to believe can be its own kind of magic trick.
Totally. And that's what we're left with, right?
Yeah.
The story, almost 100 years old. Was she for real? Who knows? But it makes you think, and that's what matters.
It sure does. Well, that's our deep dive for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and be sure to check back next time when we'll be, who knows, maybe contacting Margery ourselves.